Real quick, just stepping in to remind everyone that I have a movie channel. Check out my movie channel if you want. It's Jackson Kruger Movies. The link is in the description below, so if you're tired of just hearing my bad sports takes and want to also hear some bad movie takes, make sure you check that out. Again, link is in the description below. All right, let's talk about Will Levis, a guy who I'm really excited to see what he's going to do next year. So before we get into the film, I kind of want to talk about how I viewed Will Levis a little bit, which was not great coming out of college. I think I had like a third round grade on him, although I also kind of said, hey, if a lot of people think this guy should be drafted in round 1, and I think he should be drafted in round 3, then I would draft him in round 1. I'm not so arrogant that I would believe that my evaluation is better than the masses. If a bunch of people think he's better, then okay. As a Tampa Bay fan who didn't know what to make of the Baker Mayfield signing, was actually in favor of the thought of maybe the Buccaneers drafting him at 19. That didn't happen. He fell all the way out of the first round, which was a surprise. Most people thought he'd be a top 10 pick. The Titans maybe were surprised a little bit as well and said, let's trade up. Let's get him, have kind of a backup plan because Tannehill's in the last year of his deal. Maybe they were just a really big fan of his, but I imagine they would have made more of an effort to trade up and get him at the first round. I think there was maybe some concern, but clearly some optimism as they decided to make that decision. And for his rookie year, it was a lot of ups and downs. And obviously, as a rookie, you're not expecting a quarterback to come in and play like a superstar. If you look at the box score numbers, they're not great. Under 60% completion percentage, which I don't care about completion percentage, but if you do, that's what that was. 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and 84 passer rating. Again, box score stats are not the end-all be-all. It's a fine tool to use, but shouldn't be something you look at and view it as fact. I mean, it literally is a fact, but it shouldn't be something you look at and say, oh, okay, that means he's exactly that good of a player, because obviously there's a lot that goes into it besides just how good you are as a player. PFF does a better job at trying to just, indicate how good a player is. Not perfect, obviously, but they do their best, at least, to try and isolate the player themselves, and they had Will Levis as the 30th graded quarterback out of the 38 eligible quarterbacks who got enough snaps last year to qualify. And watching on film, I can see why. There are some downs, but there really are some positives as well. And like I said, for a rookie quarterback, I'm just evaluating you differently than how I would evaluate a fourth-year quarterback. There are things I don't expect you to be good at yet, because most rookies aren't good at those things yet. CJ Stroud's the exception. So did he show enough flashes for me to feel comfortable with him getting a second year? Absolutely. And let's just get into the film and talk about everything, good to bad. Let's just get into it. First, let's start off with something like this, where the way this is going to work is, this is kind of really what sums up Will Levis to some degree. It's a 3rd down and 10, and these plays are honestly where Levis is at his best. You see, actually, before the ball is even snapped, I think it's just getting snapped right now, it's hard to tell, defensive lineman has jumped off sides. I think Will Levis would be the best quarterback in football if every single down someone jumped off sides, because this is what he loves to do, is kind of backyard football approach. Watch as when Levis takes a snap, he's not going to throw a check down here. He's going to take a shot, and he has a big arm to make things work. I think Will Levis is at his best when he is taking chances downfield. That's really where he shines. And I think when he's had his best games, it's when he's had the most opportunities to do things like this. Here you see he does get that big completion to get the ball all the way to the 1-yard line. I mean, got to give credit to the receiver, of course, but it was a well-thrown ball in a position where his receiver could make the play. He really can make these very flashy plays. And stuff like this too, which is flashy in a different way. It's a 3rd down and 6. You see the concept on the screen and how it can work out against zone coverage. Those are the 2 routes that you want to look towards. However, when this play begins, Houston is doing what Houston often did last year, which is covering this pretty well. You see that neither one of these routes really have a great chance of getting open on this 3rd down and 6 situation. And so you're going to see Levis is going to scramble out. He's going to actually pick up this 1st down. Again, there is that bit of a, it factor, gamer quality, whatever you want to talk about. Sometimes that stuff gets overblown, but that's not to say that it isn't a real thing. And he definitely is someone who can make a play like that, which if you're a Titans fan, how can you not fall in love with a young quarterback who's doing that kind of stuff for your team? And honestly, I would say that for the most part, he did a pretty good job at running the offense as well. Like, maybe not elite at it. Like, there's definitely guys who are better at this type of stuff. But for a young player, did a pretty good job at it. Where this play, you have Hopkins running a route over the middle. Levis is going to take the snap. He runs a play action and looks over the middle right here. And, again, you see the two Houston players kind of that are in that, inside the numbers here. You want to try and throw in between them. I'd say Levis times this one well and gets the ball over there. Really, good job by him on these types of plays, and I think that this is something he does a pretty good job at. Like I said, could he be a bit more consistent sometimes and get the timing a little bit down? Yeah, but for a young player, he's about as good as you would realistically want a young player to be. Honestly, my main critique about him is also in some ways my main positive, which is maybe a good thing or maybe a bad thing depending on how you look at it. So it's this play, it's going to be zone coverage, and you see the concept. So Levis is going to run a play action towards the offense's right and then roll out towards the offense's left. You then have several receivers who are trying to get open further down the field. That's the way this play is designed to work, but really, that route is the one that usually is going to get open. Usually the idea is that kind of the underneath route takes away the guys underneath. The deeper route pushes the corner who's in that area further deep, and then hopefully no one picks up Hopkins, or someone picks up Hopkins, but it takes them just a little bit longer to pick up Hopkins, and because of that, you have a little bit of a window, you can make the play work. That's how this play is designed to work. Okay, that's how it works on paper. Let's see how it works in practice. Levis is going to take the snap. He runs a play action, rolls out towards, outside the numbers, throws off balance. So all that stuff, not easy to do, doing it very well. And you see there is clearly one player in front of the other in this situation. The issue is it's the wrong guy. Hopkins is the one I've circled in black. It's actually a Houston defender who I've circled in yellow. There's just no denying Will Levis takes chances. He's going to throw the ball pretty much every time he thinks he has an opportunity. This is not one he should be throwing. And you see, didn't always make him pay. This time it did. It was Steven Nelson who made the play. Give him some credit. But still, this is just something you would see from watching Will Levis play, is he would make these kind of mistakes. He's someone who's going to, if the play is on paper supposed to go to a certain area, that's where he's throwing the football. And that's not always a terrible thing. And one thing that the Titans have kind of done to hopefully help Levis out is just get better receivers. They've they added Calvin Ridley, of course, and they're just trying to make, I think, an effort to get the receiving core a bit more talented. So when he does make his first read throws, or I shouldn't say first read throws, but when he makes the throws that are how the play is designed to work, and makes the kind of tight window plays, hopefully they're not as tight of windows and his receivers can help him out. And then you do get the good backyard football style stuff that he does bring to the table. So I'm interested in Will Levis, and I do find him to be a very fascinating prospect. He isn't someone I was crazy about in college, and maybe I just need to rewatch the college tape. He'd hardly be the first guy I misevaluated if it happens. So totally, I could see it, and I do wonder if there's maybe some more stuff there. Just because I wasn't as crazy about his college tape, I'm probably not going to be as optimistic about him as I would be if I was in love with his college tape, which just that makes sense, right? But I was really impressed with him this rookie year and thought that he showed a lot of real flashes. Even if the consistency needs to get better, he needs to stop making mistakes, all of that stuff is very true. But when you have the positives as a young player, that's kind of all you need, because now it's like, well, let's see if we can fix your issues. If you come into the league and don't even show any positives, then it's like, okay, you were a second round pick, whatever, let's move off of you. There is plenty of reason to believe Levis could be good, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on Will Levis so far with his career with the Tennessee Titans. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.